nearly hitting the fire hydrant. He's within a few feet of hitting pedestrians. But I can tell you this, is if his plan is to throw cash out the window to block us by having pedestrians, we're not going to run. He may run out of money, but we're not going to run out of sheriff's deputies, and we're not going to run out of helicopters.
Right, and it is sickening to see with putting all of these people in danger, and the fact that people are running out into the street for the money that they're throwing from a bank robbery. This has to put pressure on your lead vehicles there as they pursue these folks. Is this something that you can train for?
You know, there's a tremendous amount of pressure on these sheriff's deputies. I've driven in pursuits. I've been a lead in a pursuit before. This is a lot of pressure on these deputies because their goal is that nobody gets hurt and that these suspects get taken into custody. Because if these guys get away and they're willing to do this kind of reckless criminal behavior, robbing banks at gunpoint, throwing cash out a window, driving in a reckless manner, and almost killing people, clearly they need to be taken off the streets in the interest of public safety. These deputies are under a lot of pressure because I'm counting 50 people on the television screen right now that are all within feet of this pursuit that I don't think are thinking this through clearly, because these people driving the car, they're not deputy sheriffs. They're not going to be careful as they drive by. They're just doing whatever they feel like they have to do to get away.
Right.
And so you saw that car just now on the side of the street. You see some of these sheriff's deputies and police officers are blocking traffic so that the car can get through, so that people coming opposite directions don't get hit or collide with this car.
Well, we have
he's clearly not obeying the traffic signals.
Captain, I don't know if you can see, but right now it appears as if they've trapped the vehicle, and your deputies are out into the vehicle, pulling one of the suspects immediately out of the back seat. We don't know what the suspect driver is doing, but your deputies are moving in right now to bring these.
There's a little bit of a time delay, but I do see what the deputies are doing. They've obviously run up on the car. You have multiple deputies at gunpoint. You see a woman running around with a little dog. I'm glad she picked up the dog and got out of there. And I'm watching, as you are, as one suspect is being taken out of the front seat and a second suspect is being taken out of the back seat. Deputies are, this is a lot of pressure on these deputies because you've also got hundreds of people surrounding them. That's a lot to be distracted by as you're trying to do your job.
Absolutely, because you not only have the immediate concern of what's happening there with the suspects, you have a perimeter that is moving in on the sheriff's deputies who are trying their best to both make the arrest and protect the public, a public that is surging forward. If you can see our picture, Captain,
look at the amount of people.
You see this public surrounding these sheriff's deputies.
Yeah, I agree.
They act like it's a parade.
Crowd management is that, you know, is this crowd going to be cooperative? Is this crowd going to try to get more of that cash? We don't know. So this is another reason why you saw so many patrol cars involved in the pursuit, is that we had multiple suspects bail out. We had suspects throwing cash out the window at least 10 different locations. So all this, you see deputy sheriffs and police officers trying to get the crowd to move back. Unfortunately, what happens in a lot of these situations, it kind of takes on a circus-like atmosphere, and people come out and look at it as a big show. But it's not a show to us because you have innocent people's lives in danger, sheriff's deputies' lives in danger, and then you have these suspects who apparently thought nothing of endangering people. I see a cameraman down there getting rushed by a large number of people, so the deputies are going to pull that guy out of there if he needs help.
Yeah, it appears as if he's been pulled out of, as you mentioned, there's a slight lag in what you're seeing and what we're showing. I have seen that news photographer pulled away from the crowd, and you have to wonder if as you said, Captain, folks are thinking straight, because these are armed bank robbers. These are folks who stole money at gunpoint, according to witnesses there, and the law enforcement who were on the scene immediately after. And to participate in some sort of a festive atmosphere upon their arrest. It makes you wonder. But the good news here, if we can report it in that way, is that this pursuit has ended here. And I want, Captain, if you could just hold on for 1 second. Mark Kono's in Sky 5 HD. He's been tracking it for us from the beginning. Mark, where precisely did this pursuit end? And help us in describing the scene that we're looking at.
Frank, this is nothing short of what looks like a mob scene here. What we're looking at here is South LA. This is the intersection of Kansas and Vernon. Now, the major street that you're seeing there, all the vehicles are lined up on Vernon. Right on Kansas, it's 1 block to the west of Vermont. Now, we were talking just a few minutes ago about how this guy was making circles in a fairly tight area here, an area that it looked like he might have been familiar with. I still believe that to be the case here. He was just kind of circling the area here, and as he kept circling these few square blocks here, more and more people started to come out, and that's why you see so many people here. I mean, this is literally a mob scene here where Vernon, just east-west, going top to bottom on your screen there, is literally jammed in both directions. Kansas also jammed right at the intersection there. We're talking about a crowd of at least 100, possibly more people who have come out onto the streets, who have likely been watching this pass in front of their homes for the better part of, about half an hour at this point. So this particular neighborhood in South LA, it appears that this guy was making circles, say northbound on Kansas, over to Vernon, down Vermont, and maybe for a couple of blocks down to the south. But this particular stretch of block here in South LA seems to be where the concentrated efforts were, where these guys were kind of driving around. Now, again, this is a major intersection here, Vernon and Kansas, just 1 block west of Vermont. Vermont, by the way, is also blocked. It's completely shut down at this point. If we move if we tilt down, Chris Hauger, photographer there is going to show us Vermont and Vernon there, and again, this whole stretch is going to be just literally log jammed for the next several minutes until they can get some officers here to conduct some traffic enforcement.
And Captain Parker, as we look at this scene, it's described as Kansas and Vernon Avenue. Is this this? If I'm not mistaken, this is part of Is it Southwest Division of LAPD, or is this part of the Sheriff's Department?
Can you guys get 11 up?
Captain Parker. Captain Parker. All right, Captain Parker working more than one phone there, but this is an area that is... Captain Parker, are you with us?
I am.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, this area being
Captain
described
Parker
by
multitasking.
he says this is right at Vernon and Kansas Avenue, just west of the 110 freeway, south of Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Is this the Southwest Division of LAPD, and is this the kind of situation in which you will call in LAPD to assist, despite the fact this is your pursuit?
Right. Los Angeles Police Department's been working on this with us the whole time. They're well aware of it, and Sheriff and LAPD are working together. It is City of Los Angeles LAPD policing area where the suspects are taken into custody. But police officers and sheriff's deputies and highway patrol officers have law enforcement authority everywhere in the state of California. It's just a matter of who's primary and who's secondary on any given situation. So we're all working together now to restore order in the area. The 2 suspects that were taken into custody will be driven away from the scene. They're obviously facing bank robbery as well as many other charges. But now sheriff's deputies and police officers are working together. If you notice, they're working together to establish what some would call a skirmish line. The goal is just get the community back to normal. The suspect's vehicle is of itself a crime scene, so we need to get that vehicle towed away because we're going to want to fingerprint it and get all kinds of evidence out of it. But I do want to mention something in particular that's very important, is that we do still have 2 active containments for suspects that bailed out of this car early in the pursuit. That's on Yarnell, where at least 1, possibly 2 suspects got out, and Hubbard, another suspect, and that's in the Sylmar area. I don't have a cross street right now, but that is, I just got the cross street. Yarnell Street and Carroll Lane in Sylmar, and Hubbard and Excelsior in Sylmar. And in both of those locations, we have suspects that are
Looks like a Laker parade just got over.
Early on in the pursuit and ran. Containment means that we've surrounded the area with patrol cars, Force K-9 to look for those suspects. And obviously our goal is to get everybody in custody.
We're watching pictures now, Captain, of LAPD officers moving in, as you said, in a skirmish line sort of fashion to protect, it appears to me, the officers who are beginning the process now of investigating. I don't know if they've actually transported the suspects out of the scene yet. You can see how many vehicles are involved there, but that right there in the middle of the screen is your suspect vehicle. As you said, it has to be processed for fingerprints and any other
Money
sort
was
of
thrown from that vehicle during the chase.
Another question that I have for you, as we look at this scene, many of the people were drawn out into the streets because the suspects were throwing money out of the window. What happens in terms of the recovery of that money?
You know, all of that money
Good luck.
does not belong to the people that have it. Technically,
Oh, yes, it does.
It's a crime to knowingly possess money that belongs to someone else. So rather than emphasize that, I'd rather emphasize the fact that the right thing to do, if you were one of those people that gathered up that money, is to call your local law enforcement, in particular Santa Clarita Sheriff Station.
Absolutely, Captain. The right thing.
Does he know this is South LA?
The money back in. You are in violation of the law if you are possessing it. Elizabeth Espinoza, I'm told, is on the scene right now near this situation. We're going to have her join us momentarily. Captain Parker, as you look at this now, as someone of rank and who has been through pursuits and has a great deal of experience, when you look at a scene like this, what happens next? As you said, you want to return the scene, the neighborhood, to some sense of normalcy, but how do you do that? Captain Parker, you still with us? Okay, I think we've lost
Captain Parker don't know how to multitask.
Captain Mike Parker from LA County Sheriff's Department has been doing a great job of keeping us informed of what's happening. Mark Kona is still with us in Sky 5 HD. Mark, do you have the sense that it's de-escalating a bit, or is it still a very active scene down there?
From what I can tell, Frank, still a very active scene. The LAPD doing its part to conduct some crowd control, maybe move people along away from the scene here. But if you look,
people want their fair share of stolen money.
And Vermont Avenue,
they don't care that it's stolen.
A mess in terms of traffic.
They care that you didn't throw it to them.
Shut down right as you approach Vernon from both directions here. Vernon east and west is going to be shut down between Vermont and Kansas, and so there are a lot of cars here blocking the roadways there, and they are just trying to get through. Lots of people out in the streets still, and yet the LAPD again doing what they can to kind of hurry these people off. And so the scene still remains very active. Again, the intersection of Kansas and Vernon here in South LA. The suspects for the better part of about 20 to 30 minutes here circling this particular area here. And as they were circling here, it seemed like more and more cars were gathering, more and more people were coming outside, and it just seemed like they were just coming back to this particular area here. And when they finally did, it looked like they were blocked off by a couple of cars, one in particular here, and that's when the LAPD and the LA County Sheriff's Department made their move and approached the car and got these two suspects out. Now, again, a very active scene here in South LA.
All right, and Mark, right there within that scene is our own Elizabeth Espinoza. She's got a phone with her. Elizabeth, where precisely are you, and what are you seeing?
Oh, this is awful. This really is a sad situation. I mean, you could not have a perfect time. More perfect, if you will, than this. We are off of Vernon and Vermont. We're just walking over to an area where we believe that
what's she saying?
They may have in custody one of the other bank robbery suspects that initiated fire.
She needs to upgrade her phone.
We were heading report. We were in UCS driving here. You can hear people yelling. We're next to LAPD that's right here now. We're trying to get folks to stay away. To stabilize. I mean, you got people in the SUV right now yelling at officers. Again, analyzing here, telling them they're going to get out of this area, but this is literally shut down. You can see from the aerial. It's just such a bad situation. I mean, it is the formula. And these bank robbers are very clever in acknowledging that if you
she killing my ears.
That if you throw cash out the window, that you're going to create this kind of mess. you've got these people who are driving down Vermont, running, some people on bicycles, running, and apparently word had gotten out that they were going cash up when they wanted to get the cash from what we understand. And of course nobody wanted to talk to us. And Virginia blew out the bus, but we're like walking around. And I'm looking out for our own safety, and I'm looking out for my photographer, Darren, who's with me right now. And LAPD sheriff, I mean, one LA County sheriff deputy who had what was holding a rifle.
Elizabeth,
very, very chaotic. It still is a very unstable situation. I mean, we are seeing a little bit of taunting. A lot of cameras also. A lot of stuff on us recording. But it got very scary at one point because we were walking towards the area closer to, let's see, I'm trying to see what about Kansas and Vernon. I think there was just all officers trying to get on the same page in different departments. Also, one officer actually pushed me and said, "You need to move," and I said, "No, I'm just taking your leg. Got to stay by the side for number one, and number two, we're just coming to stuff. We're a little chaotic, and now it seems a little bit more stable and understanding."
All right, Elizabeth.
But certainly, just looking at something right now, they say this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. In fact, let me just talk to somebody. Sir, what's your name? Do you live around here? Yes, okay. What's your name? Thank you for your call. Well, actually, on television right now to the telephone with KTLA. So, what did you see? Have you ever experienced anything like this? I mean, we know that in Los Angeles,